26 and finish off
25.
25.
Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 3, verse number 22. Pratyudgama parishrabhya abhivadanam vidyade sadhu mitha samyudyame prajanya parasmai purushasya chedasa gugasayaiva na dehe manine. Synonym translation and purport by His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Pratyugama, standing up from one seat. Parashrayana, welcome. Abhivadanam, obeisances. Vidyade, are intended. Sadhu, proper. Mithaha, mutually. Sumadhyame, my dear young wife. Prajanya, by the wise. Parasmai, unto the Supreme. Purushaya, unto the Supreme Soul, Super Soul. Chedasa, with intelligence. Guhas Sayaya, sitting within the body. Eva, certainly, not. Dehamanine, to the person identifying with body. Translation. My dear young wife, certainly friends and relatives offer mutual greetings by standing up, welcoming one another, and offering obeisances. But those who are elevated to the transcendental platform, being intelligent, offer such respect to the super soul, which is sitting within the body, not to the person who identify with the body. It may be argued that since Daksha was the father-in-law of the Lord, it was certainly a duty of Lord Shiva to offer him the respect. In answer to that argument, it is explained here that when a learned person stands up and offers obeisances to welcome, he offers respect to the super soul, who is sitting within everyone's heart. Among Vaishnavas, therefore, it is seen that even when a disciple offers obeisances to the spiritual master immediately returns the obeisances because they are mutually offered not to the body but the super soul. Therefore, the spiritual master also offers respect to the super soul situated in the body of the disciple. The Lord says in the Srimad Bhagavatam that offering respect to his devotee is more valuable than the offering respect to him. Devotees do not identify with body, so offering respect to Vaishnava means offering respect to Vishnu. It is stated also that as a matter of etiquette, as soon as one sees the Vaishnava, one must immediately offer him respect, indicating the super soul sitting within. The Vaishnava sees the body as a temple of Vishnu, since Lord Shiva and already offered the respect to the super soul in Krishna conscious, offering respect to Daksha, who identified with his body, was already performed. There was no need to offer respect to the body, but that is not directed by any Vedic injection. Hare Krishna, in the past few verses, it is being stated how Mother Sati is arguing putting all her arguments that why one should go to her father's sacrifice arena, because she was saying that all her relatives will be there and the learned people will be there, sadhus will be there, and he is giving. And also she is putting one need not to get an invitation from parents to go to one's place like that. But all that hearing, Lord Shiva was smiling because he knows that she's talking from the platform of body. But one should definitely understand that this is not the Lord Shiva is trying to make her understand that respect means what? In this verse, a learned person, a sadhu, when he gives respect or standing up and giving obeisances, all that not to the body which is coming, which is temporary, and it is to the super soul residing within the sanctum sanctorium of that body, which is Paramatma. So in turn, even spiritual master also will give respect to the disciple, because he is also not seeing as a disciple as a body, but the body, the Paramatma living within. That is what here mentioned in this verse. In connection to this, I heard recently from Amarendra Prabhu's class, once His Holiness Radhana Sai Maharaj was giving instruction to one of his disciples to reply to the letters he received. So whenever he comes, the disciples will come and they will read the letter and he will instruct, and the disciple will write it and send a reply to the disciples. So in one such situation, he was giving the instructions, and the disciple was noting down. And then he has to take note and he has to type it and send the email. That's how it is.
Yeah.
So what happened when Maharaj started dictating? He said, please accept my most humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
I know that
And then-
Pam Hoy wrote.
Sorry?
Which I heard. He wrote Pam in the short form.
Yeah. And then he wrote Pamo. And then he brought that back to the Maharaj for correction, and he said, what is this Pamo? No, the Pamo is please the short form of payment, because it is everybody is writing we don't have to write all that everybody know. No. This is not this is what not I dictated you. You have to write it full. Please accept my most humble obeisances. Okay, Maharaj. Then he paid obeisances and left. And then he started typing. And what he thought is, instead of Pamo, he typed once, and then he copied and started pasting in the next letter. Then he understood. Just turning back, Maharaj is standing there. What are you doing? No, Maharaj, it is coming in every letter, starts with this one, so I copy paste. No, that is what I did not instruct you to. You have to type it every time. And then he said a very important thing. When I dictate, please accept my most humble obeisances. I mean it. I see that devotee in front of me and I'm paying obeisances unto him. When you type ammo or copy paste, it loses its essence. It loses its essence. So that the pure devotees are like that. When they think, when they say, when they act, they mean it. So we can compare what is our attitude when they come. If the devotee is seeing many devotees, when Srila Prabhupada's time, Prabhuji, can you make a little noise, please? When the devotee, when in the Srila Prabhupada time, Prabhupada will be 1 kilometer away, 2 kilometers away, but still the moment they saw, immediately they will fall like a danda. That's why it is called danda. Yeah, it's like a stick. So in this arena also, you should not think that Mother Sati is thinking that I will get respect and all that. But the respect given by the devotee is for the super soul within, not to the material body. That's what in this verse Prabhupada giving vivid example. We'll move to verse number 23, which has a long purport, and it's a beautiful.
Yeah. Fantastic.
And it's a fantastic verse also. Sattvam visuddham vasudeva sabditam yat iyate tatra pumam apavrata sattve cha tasmin bhagavan vasudevo He adoksaje me namasa vidyade. Sattvam consciousness, Vishuddham pure, Vasudeva, Sabditam known as Yat, because Iyate is revealed, Tatra there, Puman, the Supreme Person, Apavrita without any covering, Sattve in consciousness, Cha and Tasmin in that, Bhavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva, he, because Adoksaje, transcendental, me, by me, Namasa, with obeisances, Vidiyade, worship. Translation: I am always engaged in offering obeisances to Lord Vasudeva in pure Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is always pure consciousness, in which the Supreme Personality of Godhead, known as Vasudeva, is revealed without covering. I am always engaged in offering obeisances to Lord Vasudeva in pure Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is always pure consciousness, in which the Supreme Personality of Godhead, known as Vasudeva, is revealed without any covering. This is what Lord Shiva is saying. So this is one of the answer for many people comparing Lord Shiva and Krishna are one and the same. Here, Lord Shiva himself is declaring that I am always engaged in paying obeisances to the Vasudeva in pure Krishna consciousness. So this clarifies that doubt. The living entity, purport. In living entity, it is constitutionally pure. Asangohi ayam purushaha. In Vedic literature, it is said that the soul is always pure and uncontaminated by material attachment. The identification of the body with the soul is due to the misunderstanding. As soon as one is in fully Krishna conscious, it is to be understood that one is in his pure original constitutional position. This state is called Shuddha Sattva, which means that is the transcendental to the material qualities. Since this Shuddha Sattva existence is under direct action of the internal potency, in this state, activities of material consciousness stop. For example, when iron is put into fire, it becomes warm. And when the red hot, although it is iron, it is like fire. Similarly, when the copper is surcharged with electricity, its action as a copper stops. It acts as electricity. So it is two very good example Prabhupada is giving. The originally the Jivatma is in a pure consciousness. It is in the it understands the constitutional position, that is eternal servitor of the Lord. But it is when it's contaminated with the material, then it identifies with the material. Like rainwater, when comes from the rain cloud, it is pure. But that pure water can reach to a tulsi leaf, and when the leaf is offered to the Supreme Lord, it retains its purity all the way. But if the water drops into various places according to its material condition, even it can fall into garbage drum, it can go to very filthy places, then it gets that association, and that water becomes that part of that. So then it will never get an association of such pure soul. Similarly, here, as long as the red hot iron is in connection with the fire, it remains as fire. Though it is iron, it's no more iron. It is a fire. It has all potency of the fire. When it is taken out, it loses. Then the ashes covers the outermost layer, and then slowly it cools, and it identifies it's wrong as iron. Similarly, the electricity, copper wire, we can We can play around, we can hold it on. But when the electricity is passed, then it loses its copper tendency and it becomes electricity. Here in Bhagavad Gita 14.26 also it is confirmed that anyone who engages in unadulterated devotional service to the Lord is at once elevated to the position of pure Brahman.
Jai.
Mamchayo abhivicharena bhakti yogena sevade sagunan samatityan brahma bhuyade kalpade. Say abhivicharena, one has to be unconditional, unmotivated, unadulterated. It's in such a pure state. If you once does the pure Krishna conscious activities, that is service, then he is fully in pure Brahman state. For such a devotees, they were na kankshadi, na sokshadi. They are always in madbhakte labade param. They attain me. Krishna gives all guarantee. Therefore, Suddha Sattva, as described in this verse, is the transcendental position, which is technically called Vasudeva Sattvam. Suddha Sattvam is called Vasudeva Sattvam. Vasudeva means it's a pure. It is also described. It is in transcendental level. Vasudeva is also the name of the person whom Krishna appears. This verse explains that the pure state is called Vasudeva because in the state, Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is revealed without any covering. It is completely transcendental. To execute unadulterated devotional service, therefore, one must follow the rules and regulations of the devotional service without desire to gain any material profit by fruitive activities or mental speculation. These are all anarthas, fruitive activities or mental speculation. This will take us to various platforms other than Krishna. So when we are in a pure, unadulterated devotional service, we can see that as long as in a pure devotee association, our thought process is completely with exactly like the iron when it connection with the fire. Similarly, when we are with the pure devotees, then our conscious also in pure or at least in Krishna consciousness. But the moment we come out with ashes, covers us with the material identifications, and then we lose the Krishna consciousness. In pure devotional service, one simply serves the Supreme Personality of God as a matter of duty. In pure devotional service, one simply serves the Supreme Personality of Godhead as a matter of duty without reason and without being impeded by the material conditions. This is called Suddha Sattva. So here, it is very beautifully explained. Material conditions are not a matter of factor for this doing or practicing this pure devotional service. Because in this stage, the Supreme Person, Krishna, is revealed in the heart of a devotee. Srila Jiva Goswami has very nicely described in Vasudeva, in Suddha Sattva, in the Bhagavad Sandarbha, Bhagavata Sandarbha. There are such Sandarbhas. There are 6 Sandarbhas Jiva Goswami wrote. The first one is Bhagavad Sandarbha. He explains that Astotra Sada 108 is added to the name of the spiritual master to indicate one who is situated in the Suddha Sattva or in the transcendental state of Vasudeva. So for this, one who in coming to this, whatever material conditions is not at all a matter. See, it is actually, I think I discussed about this in one of my class, but still again I will tell. It happened in Radha Gopinath Mandir, and actually we made a drama out of that in Srivasangan. There was
you acted.
Yeah.
Walking like a diseased person.
No, Prabhu. That is Vasudeva Vipra. That is Chaitanya Charitamrita story. But this one is recently, Prabhu. There was one businessman, a very rich businessman who was in Mumbai. There, he had a driver, devotee driver. So the devotee driver whatever happens in his life, he is very pleased in his with his limited resource and limited income. Their family was so happy. He used to come in uniform with a cap and put tilak and chanting. Whenever is free, he used to chant, and he will come very clean. And the owner, he really admired this devotee because he's always holding smiling face and very clean and always chanting. So this all characters this businessman was admiring. But in other terms, the businessman will come in so much of anxiety every day coming from our home. He take the even after entering car, he immediately opened the laptop and started stop this thinking about today's business and so much and so on. One day when he was in so much of anxiety, he closed the laptop and looked at the mirror. This driver is so happy and he is smiling and he is chanting while driving. And he asked, Anna, how come you can be like this? I'm trying to be like you, but I'm never able to do this one. I'm not giving you so much salary and I have so many people to serve, but I'm giving a small salary, but you are so happy. How much ever I have money, I'm not happy. Then he was simply again smiling. You are smiling for this also. Sir, I'm whatever I'm getting, I'm okay for sir. Whatever give I'm getting, that is the Lord's mercy. So I'm happy. I'm trying to live with that happy. My family is happy like that. So he was. So you tell me. My schedule is like that. You know that I'm going office and board meetings, this meeting. Then I'm going to factory. I'm looking at that evening social gatherings. Then you dropping me home, and then you are taking your two-wheeler and going home and coming early. So much how it is. Then what is your schedule? Sir, I wake up at 4 o'clock and take bath, cold bath, and coming to open the altar, and I do my sadhana, chanting my rounds, read my half an hour my books, and the weekend you are giving me off. So I'm going to RGM, Radha Gopinath Mandir, RGM, and then the whole day we spend there with the devotees, and it is really amazing. What? Only that's all you are saying everything bhakti, nothing else. No social gathering, no cinema, no park, no beach. How you can be happy? Sir, this is testimony, sir. You are saying that you are not happy, but you are doing all this, and you are only giving me certificate that I am happy than you. So, in fact, I am also going RGM. He said that is an RGM means there is one pub called RGM. I am going that RGM that is not giving any peace. So, can I also come to you? Come and meet. Then yes, of course. Then he was very happy. So please come next Sunday, sir. Like that. Then he went and told brahmacharis, my boss is coming today. Okay, they all okay. Let him come. Then he came alone. Morning, Guru Arati was going on. The devotees were jumping for Arati. Then one brahmachari started pulling him. Come on, sir. You can also join. No, I'm old person. See, that devotee is older than you. You can also join. Then he started. Then he started jumping like everybody. Then he stopped. I said, when I go to pub park, I never thought that can dance without alcohol. So I used to take one or two pegs and then we start dancing. Here, everybody is intoxicated more than the bar and pubs. People are so much intoxicated. So this is what Krishna is all about, sir. Then they served a big thali prasadam for a special guest. And he said, wow, how much I have to pay for this one? No, this is totally free. What? There for everything I have to, even for water I have to pay. Here you are saying this is free. Oh, what is this? This is amazing. So this is Krishna is inviting you. He is giving like that. Then later he became a devotee, and then he asked, whom should I take as my guru? Sir, you will get many gurus. Your first guru is your driver.
Jai.
You will get, because he is your Pan Pradishta Guru, he is the only brought to you. So from today onwards, you have to remember him every day. He is your first Guru. And then you can come here. Then later he become devotee and he remembers and he only shared this story. So
he got initiated with Hazrat Maharaj.
This story, one brahmachari only told. I am not, maybe he also initiated Prabhu. So there are many business people are there. One businessman's story is this. So any material condition is not a matter at all for this one. So Vasudeva also means one who is everywhere or all pervading. The sun is also called Vasudeva Sabditam. The word Vasudeva may be utilized for different purposes, but whatever purpose we adopt, Vasudeva means the all-pervading or localized supreme personality of Godhead. In Bhagavad Gita 7.19, it is also called Vasudeva Sarvamiti. Bhagwanam Janmanam Ante Jnanavam Jnanavan Prapatyate Vasudeva Sarvam Samahatma
Sudurnava.
So here also Vasudeva Sarvamiti means only the supreme, it refers to the supreme personality of Godhead. Factual realization is to understand Vasudeva, the supreme personality of Godhead. Vasudeva, the super person is revealed. This is also called Kaivalya, which means pure consciousness. One Kaivalyam is the highest understanding. Jnanam Satvigam Kaivalyam. When one is situated in pure transcendental knowledge, one is situated in Kaivalya. Kaivalya state is the pure conscious state. Therefore, Vasudeva means Kaivalya. A word which is generally used by impersonalist. Impersonal Kaivalya is not the last stage of realization in Krishna consciousness. Kaivalya, when one understands the supreme personality of Godhead, then one is successful in that pure state by hearing, chanting, remembering, etc. Because of development of knowledge of the science of Krishna, one can understand the supreme personality of Godhead. All these activities are under guidance of the internal energy of Supreme Lord. So the Paramatma is there for everyone and he gives guidance, if not final guidance, but he initially is there as Anumanta Ubadrishta. He is a sanctioner and overseer of all our thinking and what we thought, what we are thinking, what we are going to think, everything he knows. All in 3-dimensional, 360 degrees, the Supreme Lord knows that. But all of us can agree, those who are in the path of realization, self-realization, when we try to commit some degree of sin, some second thought will come and to guide us whether. One second. Hello? ഞാൻ ക്ലാസ്സിലാണ്, ഞാൻ കുറച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞ് വിളിക്കാം, തിരക്കിലാന്ന് പറയും.
Your boss called?
Yeah, somebody.
This verse is the best verse in the chapter.
Yes, Prabhu. The action of the eternal potency is also described. One second, Prabhu, something emergency. Basil, I am taking class. Is there anything urgent? The action of internal potency is also described in this verse as Aphavrata, free from any covering. Because the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his name, his form, his quality, his paraphernalia, etc., being transcendental or beyond material nature, it is not possible to understand any one of them with materialistic senses. When the senses are purified by the discharge of pure devotional service, Rishikena, Rishikesa Sevanam Bhakti Ruchade. This is from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Sarva Bhadi Vinirmuktam Tat Paratvena Nirmalam Rishikena Rishikena Sevanam Bhakti Ruchade. So we have to, with this, with the master, we have to use our senses. Is the master of the senses. The pure senses can see Krishna without covering. Now one may inquire that since factually the devotee has the same material essential body, how it is possible that the same materialistic eyes become purified by devotional service? The example, as stated by Lord Chaitanya, is that devotional service cleanses the mirror of the mind. So, Chedo Darpana Marjanam, it is, Chaitanya is giving first with the holy name, first with the chanting of the holy name, one has to purify the heart and the mind, thought process, actions, everything. So only by chanting we can get all this. So for that, Baladev Vidyabhushan is giving that in the initial stage, one has to give our ears for, no, first one has to give the time, because we could have used the time for many things, but we gave the time, dedicated our time. So our first surrender starts from giving our time for Krishna. When we give time, we are not going to, it's not a cheap thing. Time is everything, very expensive, very precious.
Kala.
So, yeah, Kala. So that is Krishna himself. So in the very first time, very first place, we are giving time. So here, see Krishna consciousness activities. The Bhagavata class is going on. We could have find some reasons to go out, but we have to stay here. That is the surrender. First surrender is time. And Baladev Vidyabhushan saying, when we give time, second surrender is our ears. We give ears to hear the Harikatha, the glorification of the Supreme Lord. Even that time we need not have any like propensity to understand. When we give, then we try to give our mind. So third surrender is with mind. When we give the mind to Krishna, so then we consciously hear what is happening. And then when we give the mind, then we take the essence and then we take it with our heart. So then fourth surrender is with the heart. When we give this surrender our heart to Krishna, then what happens? Finally, we surrender completely to Krishna. On that stage, our mind, our words, our actions, all will be in one line with Krishna. So that is what a pure devotee does always. In a clean mirror, one can see one's face very distinctly. Similarly, simply by cleansing the mirror of the mind, one can have a clear conception of Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is stated in Bhagavad Gita 8.8, Abhyasa Yoga Yuktena. By executing one's prescribed duties in devotional service, Chedana Nanya Gamina, or simply by hearing about God and chanting about Him, if one's mind is always engaged in chanting and hearing and is not allowed to go elsewhere, one can realize the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As confirmed by Lord Chaitanya by Bhakti Yoga process, beginning from hearing and chanting, one can cleanse the heart and mind, and thus can clearly see the face of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So why we are not able to see ourselves? Because the mirror is completely contaminated, dust formed. So with the cleaning cloth, because The holy name is Purna Shuddho Nityamukto Abhinnatvam Namanamino. So it is purely liberated, it is completely liberated, and it is pure by its origin. So when we clean our heart by chanting the holy name of the Lord, we will be able to see our person. See this face, what I am seeing is not me. My real identity is the spirit soul. So all my actions should be in that perspective that I am not in bodily concept. I am in the spirit's concept. So for that, we have to travel a lot, clean a lot. This is what Lord Shiva is explaining here to Mother Sati. Lord Shiva said that since his heart was always filled in the conception of Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because of the Supreme Lord's presence within his mind and heart, he obeys unto the Supreme Lord. In other words, Lord Shiva is always trance, samadhi. This samadhi is not under the control of the devotee, it is under control of the Vasudeva for the entire internal energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead acts under this order. Of course, the material energy also act by his order, but his direct will is specifically executed through the spiritual energy. Thus, by his spiritual energy, he reveals himself. Thus, by his spiritual energy, he reveals himself. It is stated in Bhagavad Gita 4.6, Sambhavami Atma Mayaya. Sambhavami Atma Mayaya. Atma Mayaya means eternal potency. By his sweet will, he reveals himself by his internal potency, being satisfied by the transcendental loving service of the devotee. The devotee never commands, my dear Lord, please come here so that I can see you. It is not the position of a devotee to command Supreme Personality of Godhead to come before him or dance before him. Therefore, many so-called devotees who command the Lord to come before them dancing. The Lord, however, is not subject to anyone's command. But if he is satisfied one's pure devotional devotees, he reveals himself. Once Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, he was in his ashram. So Ardi conscious sound came. So immediately he ran in front of the Lord and he was taking darshan. So his disciples ran behind and gave his spectacles because he forgot to give spectacles. And Prabhupada asked, why did you bring this one? No, Prabhupada, without specs, you will not be able to take darshan of the Lord nicely. And he said, do you think that with this spectacle, I can take his darshan properly? No. I came here so that he will give his drishti on me. So this drishtadrik means I am here coming in front of the Lord to become a recipient of his darshan. So I am in a contaminated stage. I am in this material body. I will not be able to see this one. But we have our actions, our words, and our thought process should be in such a way that the Supreme Lord should get interest seeing. Yeah. So we have to make ourselves qualified for the Lord to come and meet me, meet the devotees, like that he said. So it is not the position of the devotee to command the Supreme Personality of Godhead to come before him, to dance before him. There are many so-called devotees who command the Lord to come before him. The Lord, however, is not subject to anyone's command. But if he is satisfied by one's pure devotional activities, he reveals himself. Therefore, a meaningful word in this verse is adoksaje, for it indicates that the activities of our material senses will fail to realize the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One cannot realize the Supreme Personality of Godhead simply by the attempt of one's speculative mind. But if one is decided, he can subdue all material activities of his senses, and the Lord, by manifesting his spiritual energy, can reveal himself to the pure devotee. When Supreme Personality of Godhead reveals himself to the pure devotee, the devotee has no other duty than to offer him the respectful obeisances.
Jai.
The absolute truth reveals himself to the absolute devotee of his form. He is not formless. Vasudeva is not formless. It is a state in which, in this verse, that as soon as the Lord reveals himself, the devotee offers his obeisances. Obeisances are offered to a person, not to anything impersonal. One should not accept the Mayavada interpretation that Vasudeva is impersonal. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Prabadhyate. One surrenders to a person, not to the impersonal non-duality. Whenever there is a question of surrendering, of offering obeisances, there must be an object of surrender or obeisances. So we have to be very, very clear about, and if we are paying obeisances, not to any material, or we have to see the Chaitanya of the Supreme Personality of Godhead inside. The Shiva is looking at this one only. Lord Shankaracharya once he said he was going in the small narrow paths of Kashi. Now it is not like that. Now it is being redone. It's a beautiful corridor now. In the small narrow streets of road, in front of the Lord was Shankaracharya was saying that I was puffed up, and my disciples were walking in front and back. They were shouting, "Durangachi, Durangachi," means you give way for Acharya. Acharya is coming, so move away, like that. He was coming, and in front, all of a sudden, a man with a toddy on his head, and the skins of animals on his body, and the blood bleeding from the flesh of this one, something like such an ugly. He came in front, and he said, he stood in front of him, and then he said, "Why are you asking me to side? What is the difference between you and me? Where do you find Veda? You are also same body. I am also in the same body. The Chaitanya inside you is same. In Chaitanya inside me also same. Where do you find Veda?" Then he understood this is not ordinary person. Then Lord Shiva came to showcase him that you should not have this pride. So similarly, the Lord Shiva is exhibiting here. One has to pay obeisances to the Supreme Personality within one's heart. Verse number 24. Tatte nirikshiyo na vidadi degakrit daksho mama dvit tad anuvardas chaye yo visvargayajnagatam varorumam anagamsta durvachas shakrudotiraha. Therefore, you should not see your father, although he is the giver of your body, because he and his followers are enemies of me. Because of his envy, O most worshipable one, he has insulted me with cruel words, although I am innocent. For a woman, both husband and the father are equally worshipable. The husband is the protector of a woman during her youthful life, whereas the father is her protector during her childhood. Thus, both are worshipable, but especially the father because he is the giver of the body. Lord Shiva reminded Sati, your father is undoubtedly worshipable, even more than I am. But take care, for although he is your he is the giver of your body, he may also be the taker of your body. Because when you see your father, he may insult you because your father, your association with me. An insult from a relative is worse than a death, especially when one is well situated. Here he is giving the final warning. See, only the reason for you to go there is your material connection, because he is the your giver of your material body. And if you are going for that, and he is going to be the person or reason for the reason of your taking your person body, because he is going to insult in such a way, because he's a Trikal Darshini. He knows what's going to happen.
Past, present, and future.
Yeah, so he is giving this is an insult from a relative is worse than a death, especially when one is well situated. So he is giving a glimpse what is going to happen next. The last verse, Yadi Vrajasyasya Adihaya Madvacho Badram Bhavatya Natado Bhavishyadi Sambhava Vitasya Swajana Prabhavo Yadasa Sadyo Maranye Kalpate. If in spite of this instruction you decide to go, neglecting my words, the future will not be good for you. You are most respectable, and when you are insulted by your relatives, this insult will immediately equal to death. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports for the 4th canto, chapter 3 of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Talks Between Lord Shiva and Sati. Hare Krishna.
Jai. Super, Prabhu. It really covered main point. The last 2 verses.
Yeah.
Actually, we should not expect anything. We should just pray to the Paramatma. That's why we are praying for basic.
Okay.
It's not for the body or position or anything.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Anyone is there? V.S. Narayan is there?
Yes,
Prabhu,
Hare
anything?
Krishna. One question I want to ask: when we
yes,
go in front of the deity and pray, at that time, what should be our bhava? That we are observing and praying to the deity, or we are getting the deity is blessing us by looking at us? Which way is? Because you are told that's why I am asking.
Prabhuji. Prabhuji, you answer, Prabhu.
So, Prabhu, actually, what Prabhupada said, that I am going to see the deity. So, Prabhupada said, it is Krishna is waiting to see you. So, you should go with full bhava that, yes, I am a servant in that mood. But when we go to the temple, what Prabhu said, we can try to follow that now. I have come in front of you. I don't have any qualification to come and stand. But still, don't leave me. I'm yours. In that mood, you can see. Plus, you're also getting seeing Krishna itself is a purification. No, eyes gets purified, and everything gets blessing both ways. But this is a very good point to think that whenever we see anybody, V.S. Narayanan or a dog or a cat, a Paramatma inside. See, my grandson that day he went from Bombay, he went for a seminar with his father. He came out of the hotel. And one dog was a nice dog. He just tried to touch that. The dog bitten in his hand. So he is putting 5 injections. I told Sama Bombay, you don't have to go and cajole the dog on the road. But Nalla Naya, they just touched. It bitten. So we can just respect. You see a horse, animal. Everywhere you still see the Paramatma and Atma inside. That sloka is clearly written. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavastini Suni Chaiva Swapa Kecha Panditaha Samadarshina. All. Whether dog eater, elephant. So it's a good point. We can every day try to see whenever we somebody around Prabhu Mataji and all. Hare Krishna Mataji, Guru Prabhupada.
Thank you.
But that attraction is there, made it cannot be changed. But we can consciously look. It's not an object of enjoyment. Everything is for Krishna. Our own body belonging to Krishna, senses belonging to Krishna. We are nothing. Even if you are having 100 crore rupees, you are just a treasurer. Like the banker goes, he's seeing shillings, dollar, even you have to keep inside and go. So let them, you have to leave it and go. It's not like ours. And feeling.
Okay. Prabhuji, can I take leave because
Yeah, we'll leave. We'll
my
close
office
10
is
o'clock now. Some call
Yeah.
has come.
Hare Krishna.
Vancha kalpitra bhasya kripa sindhu evcha pratana pavane vaishnava bhravana mohanmananta puti vaishnava ki jai, etc.
Prabhupada ki jai.
You can give the recording video because
Yes.
it's very important audio.
Oh, I'll send you. Hare Krishna. I'll send your class yesterday and this one together.
So now class is only on Sunday now. Happy Janmashtami Prabhu.
Yes.
Yes,
Thank
Prabhu.
Happy
Hare
Janmashtami.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Tomorrow going to the temple is called. Big
Yes.
program.
Hare Krishna.
Gauranga, Nityananda.